Hi guys, my name is Hannah. I am one of the MHOPE interns this year, and I am also a yoga instructor on campus at the East Gym. So today I am bringing you a little yoga flow. It's going to be a short 30-minute restorative flow, just going to work on getting some deeper stretches. So if you have the time to and you need a space to clear your mind and just breathe, please feel free to practice, and I hope you enjoy it. So we'll start here in a seated position. Find whatever seated position is comfortable for you, so maybe the legs stay crossed or sitting in lotus pose. Maybe you're sitting on top of your legs here in hero's pose, or maybe that bothers your knees. So maybe you straighten the legs, whatever feels best for you. And in this seated position, take a second to check in with your posture. So we're sitting up nice and tall. The chin is slightly lifted. Roll the shoulders up, pull the shoulder blades back. Opening the chest here, and once you feel comfortable, your hands can come to the knees if you'd like to. Palms can face down to ground or up to receive, whatever you need today, whatever feels better for you. And when you're ready, go ahead and close the eyes and start to focus on your breath. We'll start to practice our Ujjayi breath, the most basic breath in a yoga practice. So on your next inhale, breathe in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Notice the breath might sound like a wave. This is also called the ocean breath. So we're just taking a minute to check in with our breath here. Start to regulate your breath, maybe slow your breathing a bit. And whenever you feel ready, bring the awareness to the top of the head, and we'll start with a full body scan. So moving from head to toe. Pause on each spot in your body and notice how it feels. Notice if it feels nice, if it feels good, or maybe something is bothering you, maybe something feels uncomfortable. And if something is bothering you, remember that. Remember how it feels now and come back to it throughout our practice. Notice how it changes, if it changes. Once you finish scanning your body, bring the awareness back to the head. This time, moving inside, we'll scan the mind, scan your thoughts. Notice what's going on up there. Maybe the mind is calm and quiet. Or maybe not. Maybe there's lots of thoughts racing through your head right now. If there are, practice noting the thoughts, so just recognizing that they're there, that they're present, but then not dwelling on them and not worrying about eliminating them. Just letting them be, letting them pass. And finally, before we begin, I invite you all to set an intention for the practice. So think of a goal you have, something you want to do, something you want to accomplish in the next few weeks, few months, whatever it is. Think about how you'll feel once you do accomplish that. Will you feel happy? Will you feel proud of yourself, fulfilled? And focus on that feeling, that energy throughout our practice today. Know that whatever it is, you can do it. And take one more breath here. And we'll start off nice and slow. So when you're ready, you can open the eyes. Find your posture again. On your next inhale, sitting up as nice and tall as you can, keeping the chin slightly lifted, gazes forwards. And as you exhale, drop the chin to the chest. Keeping a tall spine, a tall neck here. Feel the stretch down the back of your neck. Inhale, gazes forwards. Exhale, drop the head back. Inhale back to center, gazes forwards. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale. Exhale, drop the head back. This time, inhale back to center. Exhale, drop the right ear to the right shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale, right ear. Inhale. Exhale, left ear. And we'll put this all together. So inhale, come back to center. Connect this movement to your breath. Exhale, drop the chin to the chest. Inhale, swing the head to the right. Exhale, drop the head back, making full circles with the head here. As you inhale, the head falls forwards. Exhale, the head falls back. We'll make one more full circle. And the next time the chin meets the chest, switch directions. So inhale, bring the head to the left first and drop the head back. Last full circle here. And the next time the chin meets the chest, inhale, lift the gaze and lift the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, roll them back, press them down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Last time, inhale, up. Exhale, down, switching directions. Inhale, bring the shoulders back first. Exhale, roll them forwards. Inhale, up. Exhale, forwards. Last time, inhale. And exhale. On your next inhale, lift the gaze, lift both arms, stretch all the way up. Exhale, release. Inhale, up. Exhale, twist the body open to the right side and drop the hands here. Take one breath here. Inhale, lift both arms, come back to center, lift the gaze. Exhale, open to the left side and drop the hands. One breath here. Inhale, back to center, lift both arms, lift the gaze. This time, exhale, drop just the right hand and reach to the right side. Keep the gaze lifted. Make sure that we're dropping the right shoulder away from the ear here, releasing any tension on the neck there. Inhale, rise to center, lift both arms. Exhale, drop the left hand, drop the shoulder. Keep the gaze lifted. Inhale, rise to center. Find as much length as you can. Exhale, hinge from the hips. That's Luna scratching at the door. Start to fold forwards. Drop the hands to the mat. Walk the fingertips out. Drop the head and neck. And take a few breaths here. On your next inhale, walk the hands back towards the body, pressing yourselves up. Sitting all the way up, lift the arms one more time, lift the gaze. Find a slight back bend. On exhale, hands can come down to the mat right in front of you, and we'll move to tabletop. So just leaning forwards, maybe uncross the legs. Bring the legs out from beneath you. I'm going to do this sideways so you can see. We're finding tabletop here, so stacking the joints, wrists come below shoulders, knees below hips, untuck the toes, tops of the feet meet the mat, and start with a neutral spine here. So there's no curve in the tailbone either way. And on your next inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, finding cow. Exhale, drop the head and neck, lift the back. Finding cat. Inhale, find cow. Exhale, cat. Once more, inhaling and exhaling. And coming back to a neutral spine. From here, bring the big toes together and widen the knees. And sit back into child's pose, sitting down onto the heels. Walk the hands out. Chest and forehead meet the mat. Remember your Ujjayi breath here. So inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. We're just going to do a short practice today, focusing on some deeper stretches. If at all throughout our practice you feel uncomfortable in the pose, feel free to press back to child's pose where we are right now. Or anything else that's a bit more comfortable for you. Do whatever you need to with the time we have together today. And take one more breath here. From here, we'll move into our first down dog. So on your next inhale, lifting the seat slightly, tuck the toes. Exhale, lift the hips, lift the knees, maybe hover here, take a breath here, warm the core, warm the body. And when you're ready, send the hips up and back, straighten out the legs. Down dog. This is the first down dog of our practice, so focus on 3 things here. We're keeping the heels, driving the heels down towards the mat. So maybe pedal out the knees here, walk the dog. Keep the hips lifted and the chest pressing back here. This is a shoulder stretch also. And keep the head heavy here, so shake the head yes. Shake the head no, loosen the muscles in the neck. Take one more breath here. And on your next inhale, slowly walk the feet towards the hands, coming to a forward fold. So keeping at least a slight bend in the knees. Maybe you find a generous bend. Let the chest meet the tops of the thighs. Let the arms hang heavy. Head and neck hangs heavy, or maybe you find opposite elbows in ragdoll pose and rock side to side. Take one more breath wherever you are. And on your next inhale, rising slowly, reverse swan dive, stacking one vertebrae at a time. Leaving the head and neck for last. Pull the arms up and back. Eventually arms lift up above the head. And exhale, hands come to heart center. From here, step to the top of your mat. We'll warm up the body with a quick sun salutation. So on your next inhale, lift both arms. Lift the gaze. Exhale, hinge at the hips, folding forward, leading with the heart. Inhale, hands come to shins, flat back. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step back to high plank. Take one breath up here, warming your core. And then lower knees, chest, chin. So drop the knees, untuck the toes, and bring the chin and the chest to the mat. And we'll start with the baby cobra. So bring the hands in front of the shoulders here. And on your next inhale, lift the chest. Use the strength of your back here to lift the chest so we can rub the mat, we can wiggle the fingertips. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift, maybe lifting a little bit higher, lifting the fingers off the mat, the toes off the back of the mat. Exhale, release. Last time, inhale, lift, lifting as high as you can. Lift the arms off the mat, the legs off the mat. Maybe the arms come to your sides in locust pose. One breath up here. Exhale, release. Plant the hands this time beneath the shoulders. And we'll find a full cobra. So on your next inhale, pressing up. Pressing away from the mat, away from the earth. Not letting the head sag between the shoulders here. We're standing strong here. We're pressing strong, I guess. If up dog is within your practice, you can find up dog So placing more of the weight into the tops of the feet here and lifting the thighs off the mat. The knees come off the mat. One breath here. From wherever you are, on your next inhale, tuck the toes. Exhale, lift the hips, lift the knees, meet in down dog. Remembering to keep the heels driven towards the mat, the hips high, the head heavy. On your next inhale, walk to the top of your mat, forward fold. And rise, reverse swan dive. Hands come to heart center. From here, stepping to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift both arms. Lift the gaze. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step the left leg back. Lower the left knee and tuck the toes. And rise to a low lunge here. Hands can come to heart center. And a low lunge, check your alignment, so we're making sure the knee is above the ankle here. It's not passing the toes, it's directly above the ankle, directly above the foot. And we're sinking the weight into the hips here, so you should feel a nice stretch along the top of the left thigh here, inside the left hip flexor. Take one breath here. I'm going to move this way so you can see the next pose better. But from here, when you're ready, drop both hands to the inside of the foot and we'll find lizard pose. So walk the foot outside, wider than the hip. And now walk the foot forwards so the knee is behind the ankle now. Maybe you rock onto the bridge of the foot here. We're going to find lizard pose. So sinking the weight into the hips. Opening that hip here, opening the left hip. Maybe you stay here if this feels like enough, or if you'd like to, maybe try and bring one forearm to the mat. Or maybe both forearms come to the mat. Go wherever feels best for you. This is also a great place to use a block if you have a block or any kind of prop. Maybe you just roll up a blanket and you bring a forearm to a pillow, a blanket beneath you. Take one breath here, wherever you are. And if you've lowered to the mat, on your next inhale, plant both hands and press back up. And we'll set up for the next pose. We'll find pigeon pose, so walk the foot across the mat. And lower the front of the leg to the mat. Dropping the knee to the mat. Try and keep the foot as parallel to the top of the mat, or the leg as parallel to the top of the mat if you can. But if that's not an option, lower however you can. Just keep that foot flexed here to protect the knee. And make sure we're putting the weight evenly into our hips here. We're not leaning, collapsing to one side. We're not sitting down onto our seat here. Your seat should be lifted. The hips should be even. And maybe you stay here, you walk the hands back, finding a soaring pigeon. Or maybe you walk the hands forwards and bring the forearms to the mat. Maybe you walk the hands all the way out, sleeping pigeon. The hands come to the mat, the forehead comes to the mat. Folding completely onto the leg here. Go wherever feels best for you. Take one more breath wherever you are. On your next inhale, plant both hands, press back up. We'll find a king pigeon, we'll reach for a king pigeon. So from here, walk the hands back a bit. And slowly bend the back knee, try and lift the foot off the mat. Maybe you just stay right here. Now you're feeling a stretch along the top of the right thigh here. So maybe you stay here, or I'm sorry, that's the left thigh, yeah. But if you feel like you can reach a little bit further, maybe bring the left hand behind you, try and hold on to the inside of the foot, and slowly pull the foot towards you. When you're ready, letting go of that foot. As the foot reaches the mat, tuck the toes this time. On your next inhale, lift the back knee. Exhale, lift the front leg, send it up and back, three-legged dog. And lower the leg to the mat, down dog. Pedal out the heels here, stretch out that leg. Step to the top of your mat. Forward fold. And inhale, rise, reverse swan dive. Exhale, hands to heart center. Moving to the opposite side. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands to shins, moving a little faster. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step the right leg back. Lower the back knee and tuck the back toes, coming to our low lunge. Again, checking the alignment of that foot here. The knee is above the ankle. The weight is in the hips here, so we're leaning forwards a bit. Feeling a stretch now along the top of the right thigh. Inside the right hip flexor. Take one more breath here. And when you feel ready, lowering both hands to the inside of the foot, walking the foot to the corner of the mat, so outside of the hip, past the knee. Finding lizard pose. Maybe staying here or coming to the bridge of the foot, opening the hip even more. Maybe bringing one forearm or both forearms to the mat. Or to any kind of prop you have. Take one more breath here. And if you've lowered to the mat, planting the hands, inhale, rising here. Setting up for pigeon pose, walking the foot across the mat. Again, keeping the leg as parallel as you can. But more importantly, just keeping the foot flexed. So when you're ready, finding your seat here, finding your pose. We're not collapsing. The hips are level. Maybe walking the hands back for a soaring pigeon. Or walking the hands forwards, bringing the forearms to the mat. Or maybe bringing the forehead to the mat. Notice one side might be a little tighter, or a little more flexible than the opposite side. Take one more breath here. On your next inhale, plant both hands, press back up. We'll reach for king pigeon, so bending the back knee, you can't see it. Lifting the back foot. Maybe reaching behind you, holding to the inside of that foot. Taking one more breath wherever you are. And when you're ready, lowering the foot to the mat, tucking the toes. Inhale, lift the back knee. Exhale, lift the front leg, send it up and back, three-legged dog. And lower it to the mat, stretch out the legs, pedal out the heels. Step to the top of your mat. Forward fold. And inhale, rise, reverse swan dive. Exhale, hands to heart center. From here, we'll find a Yogi Squat and we'll start to cool down. We'll move to some floor stretching here. So inhale, lift both arms, lift the gaze, widen the stance as wide as your mat, or wider, toes can point outwards. Exhale, hands come to heart center, and we'll sit down into Yogi Squat. So sitting as far down as you can here. If this is uncomfortable, if you feel like you need to lift the heels to come all the way down, place a block or a pillow, anything you can beneath your seat here, and you can just sit back onto that. The most important part of this stretch is that we're using the elbows to press into the knees, deepening the stretch here. Take one more breath here. And when you're ready, reach behind you, sit down onto your mat, stretch the legs out in front of you, flex the feet here, finding a staff pose, hands come to the lap. Find a tall posture. Inhale, lift both arms, lift the gaze. Exhale, start to hinge at the hips. Again, keep the back as straight as you can, as long as you can. When you feel like you can't move any further, drop the hands. Reach for the toes. Move as far as you can, drop the head and neck. If this is uncomfortable, if you can't really reach your toes, with the knees locked here, you can start with the knees bent. And hold on to your big toe with your peace sign fingers. And slowly scooch your seat back until you feel a nice stretch. So maybe you end here with the knees still bent, but this is what feels best for you. So listen to your body and move wherever you need to. Take one more breath here. On your next inhale, sitting back up, lifting the arms with you, lifting the gaze. And we'll lay back onto our mat, so lowering one vertebrae at a time as you exhale, engaging your core to help you come down. Let the arms fall up above your head, finding a full body stretch here, so finding as much length as you can here, pointing the fingers, pointing the toes. Feeling a stretch through the spine, through the lower back. And when you're ready, bending the knees, pulling the knees to the chest and wrapping your arms around them, pulling them in close. Maybe staying right here, rocking side to side, massaging the spine, or maybe front to back, whatever feels better for you. When you're ready, coming back to center, and inhale, pull the knees even closer. Exhale, leave the knees where they are and tee your arms out to the side, so arms become perpendicular to the body. And drop both knees first to the right side, and shift your gaze across the left. Finding a twisting stretch. On your next inhale, pull both knees back to center. Exhale, drop them to the left side, then gaze across the right. Inhale, both knees back to center. Exhale, wrap your arms around them one more time. Pull them in close. As you inhale, lift the head off the back of the mat. Curl yourself into one tiny little ball. Squeeze all the muscles in the body, all the muscles in the face as tightly as you can. And exhale, release. Lay the head back on the mat. Reach the arms in between the legs, and we'll find happy baby pose. So holding onto the outsides of the feet or the ankles, and stretching the legs upwards, maybe rocking side to side, or front to back. Maybe this pose doesn't suit you. Do whatever you need before we get down into Shavasana. Find the last of the stretching here. Coming back to center, bring the bottoms of the feet together and lower the legs to the mat. Reclining bound angle, reclining butterfly pose. The hands can come to the belly, one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. And close the eyes and focus on your breath. I'm going to talk us through Shavasana. So whenever you feel ready, straightening the legs, heels find opposite corners of the mat, toes fall out to the sides, arms come down to your sides, now palms facing up. And we'll end our practice the same way we started. So bringing the awareness to the top of the head and scanning the body, moving from head to toe. Noticing this time if anything feels different. Remember if something was bothering you at the beginning of practice, how does it feel now? Has that changed at all? When you finish scanning your body, bring the awareness to the head again. This time scanning your mind and your thoughts. Noticing if the mind feels a bit calmer, a bit quieter. Remembering to practice noting your thoughts if you need. And finally, reminding yourself of that intention you set at the beginning of practice, remembering what that was, what that means to you. Knowing that whatever it is, you can do it. And when you're ready, pulling both arms up above the head for one last full body stretch. Waking up the body here, a big good morning stretch, finding as much length as you can, maybe finding a nice yawn. And now rolling onto one side, whichever you'd like, bending the knees, using the arms as a pillow. And keeping both eyes closed. Using the strength in your arms here to press yourselves up, coming to a seated position, whatever feels best for you. And we'll take one breath together, a cleansing breath, so sighing on the exhale. When you're ready, inhale through the nose. And exhale, sighing. Breathing out any tensions, anything that's been stressing you out. Once more, inhaling. Picture everything that's been bothering you, and as you exhale, release it. If you'd like, hands can come to heart center now, and thank yourselves for coming. Thank your bodies for allowing you to practice. And if you'd like, you could join me in ending our practice by bowing your head and saying Namaste. Namaste means the light within me honors and acknowledges that same light within you. 1, 2, 3, Namaste.